The Quran chapter 3 verse 55 says, "Oh Jesus," Allah says, "Oh Jesus, I will take you and I will raise you to myself." In the Quran chapter 3 verse 33. Some translators have it, "Oh Jesus, I will cause you to die, or I will take you in your sleep." In the Quran chapter 3 verse 55, "I'll cause you to die and I'll take you to myself." So if you read Tafsir ibn Kathir, it says Allah took Jesus in his sleep. Now, here's a very interesting thing, is if you read the post-mortem vindication of Jesus in the Saints Gospel Q by Daniel A. Smith, he argues according to the Q Gospel, Jesus disappeared because Jesus says, "You will not see me" in the Gospel of Matthew and Luke. So that when Jesus says, "You will not see me" in the Gospel of Matthew and Luke, it's actually Jesus is actually predicting, or Jesus is actually saying that he's going to disappear and he's not going to be resurrected. The resurrection narrative was added later on, possibly by Paul. But regardless, Jesus says, "You will not see me." So Jesus is talking about his disappearance. So if you read Daniel A. Smith's The Empty Tomb and the Postmortem Vindication of Jesus in the Saints Gospel Q, Daniel A. Smith says on page 2 of that book that assumption was somebody taken alive from earth into heaven. So Jesus is predicting his disappearance from earth into heaven. So where was Jesus sleeping? In the tomb, right? So when the Quran chapter 3 verse 55 says, when Allah says to Jesus, "Oh Jesus, I'll cause you to die and I'll take you to myself." Because if you read the Quran chapter 3 verse 55, the Arabic says, "Oh Jesus, I will cause you to die." That means Jesus was taken, according to Tafsir ibn Kathir, in his sleep. Because Allah says, "I will cause Jesus to die," or I'll take Jesus in his sleep. So where was Jesus sleeping? Right, in his tomb. So after Jesus is crucified, he's taken down, he's put in the tomb, and and Jesus says, "You will not see me." So the Q Gospel was talking about Jesus' disappearance and not his resurrection. So it's very interesting that the Quran chapter 3 verse 55 agrees with the Q Gospel, where Jesus says, "You will not see me until the end of days," in the Gospel of Matthew and Luke. So if we read the post-mortem vindication of Jesus in the Saints Gospel Q by Daniel Smith, he talks about the Q Gospel and how the Q Gospel predates all the New Testament, and how the Q Gospel was talking about Jesus' disappearance from earth as opposed to his resurrection. So Paul is the one who made up Jesus' resurrection, while Jesus was talking about his disappearance and his reappearance in the end times, which aligns with the Quran chapter 3 verse 55. So the Quran is closer to the historical Jesus than Paul is.